This is an honest review of a Capital COB 484G Connoisseurian range. This range is currently 2 years old. From day one, I've had significant problems with this range. It began with it being delivered with non-functioning igniters underneath the griddle. When the gentleman came out to replace the griddle, who was sent from Capital Range, he was forced to scratch the bezel in order to insert the plate back in once replacing them. And he also had to bend it to get it into place. He was on phone with Capital the whole time and couldn't understand why it wouldn't fit back in properly. And Capital assured us that they would be in contact with me to resolve this issue. They never returned any calls. I've made several phone calls concerning this issue to them with no resolution. With the griddle top being bent, the front grease tray does not drain properly, nor does it heat evenly across the range top. As you can see, it gets hotter in the front edge from it being bent upward than it does across the back edge. Food placed on the front actually burns, comparatively speaking, to the food in the back. Just to prove that the range was installed properly and level, as you can see, the range is level across the front edge as well along the sides. The second issue that I ran into with this range was that, as you can see, these knobs, which are actually poorly made plastic pieces instead of being solid metal, would fall apart when you pushed to control the ovens, the range ovens, as well as the knob which controls the fan for the vent. It actually fell off into food while we were cooking. Capital did send out replacement parts for these. However, the initial design is just very poor. The fan functions very poorly. I've contacted Capital about this numerous times with no resolution. They had me actually pull the motor out and put it aside and said that it doesn't quite whistle as loudly once you do it. The sound is very disturbing, however, its function is even worse. As you can see, this is a dry paper towel, which this is a 1200 CFM fan. You can see that the paper towel just falls to the floor unless I get it extremely close to the fan. When searing steaks or anything else upon my range, the entire kitchen will be filled with smoke. Now, for a range of this caliber, having two independent ovens, we had a large party which we were preparing for. I attempted to program the ovens to independently turn on at different times and different temperatures, only to find out that only one program can be set for both ovens at an identical temperature. So you cannot utilize both ovens to prepare, for example, your appetizers or small meals or small items in this oven and prepare your large items in this oven independently of each other while you're away. Becomes a huge problem when you do a lot of entertaining like I do. The self-cleaning functions on this range have become very cumbersome and destructive. When attempting to clean the small oven, the thermal temp limit sensor inside of here trips. It cannot complete the cycle entirely. So as you can see, the inside of this range is filthy. I've contacted them and he worked me through the process where I had to unscrew this bezel, pull it out, reset the thermal limit, and replace it. Yet you still cannot self-clean it because once it gets to high temperatures, it trips that sensor. Now, when self-cleaning the large oven, this is the most destructive scenario with this oven. As you can see, there's still glass in here from the most recent door that shattered. And you can see the stains on the bottom of the oven which exist. Upon the first self-cleaning cycle, the glass doesn't shatter. However, when it's reheated, the glass actually ruptures. And as you can see on the door, which initially shattered, and you can see all the glass missing and the internal panel, which spewed glass all to the internal of the door, contacted Capital, and yes, they were kind enough to send out a new door and stated that this was an issue with their distributor for their glass and that the problem was corrected. However, after again self-cleaning the larger oven and upon the second cycle, the second door functioned exactly the same. As you can see, the internal glass is missing. Which I believe has led me to my current and most major problem Now the control panel will not function to run the ovens. As you can see, the internal clock is very dim, and as I attempt to run the oven, the lights signify that I can control it. However, you can see no temperature or anything else is coming on, nor will it begin the programming or start either oven. I believe this occurred because the internal heat, once the glass ruptured, flowed through the oven up in behind and destroyed the electronics inside the range. For a $15,000 setup, I don't feel that at 2 years I should have had as many issues as I have had, nor should I have to make as many contacts or waste my time contacting capital. The design as well as functionality of this range is questionable, and most importantly, the quality control is the most questionable portion of Capital's current setup. I'm hoping that with this video you guys will realize the dilemma that I'm in, and you will replace my range as well as the oven, as well as the hood, and do the right thing. Thank you for your time.